this is the problem I have with the conversation. When when it goes to what the man's problem is, you guys are like, well, they just need to just leave and blah blah blah, this and that. But then when we go to the woman, now it's about their environment. You got to understand
No,
why
I
is
think,
that?
well, I think that it's so I think that with men and women, it's about the environment. That's it's called, even if you look at the Bible, it says you need to find somebody who you're equally yoked with. That's the problem. Y'all keep going into other people's village trying to make them a part of yours, and it ain't working. You have to find someone who shares the same values as you, so that when you guys are going on a mission together, yes, sir, you go together, right? You don't want a woman who is not even on your same level or thinks the same way as you, even raising your children. She has to think the same way you're thinking. You have to value the same thing. That's just, so yes, when we sit here and say, because they, I don't think like a lot of people. I was raised a kind of different kind of way. Mistaken doesn't think like a lot of people. You may be thinking it with me. I don't know you like that. You, the way you are raised may be totally different. You may have different values, right? I think that we all think because we're all black, we're all the same. That ain't true. Because I don't do half the stuff black people do. I don't even like half the things black people like, but I know I'm black. I know that there are people who are just like me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you have to find the person. Logic used to say your village, right? And you have to find a person who is going to be on the same wavelength as you and who is going to carry out the mission for your family. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying, but none of that stuff matters because if we look at history, black people were the most married in this country. So that means this woman is different than that woman, is different than that woman. So none of that stuff matters. We were able to do it at one point in time. Men are still basically the same. The only thing that's different is women.
That's not true.
Average women don't want to be with average men. That is the
No,
issue.
the
That's not
difference
true.
too that you're not considering too is at that time that you're talking about, society itself was different. The conditions and the environment in which those marriages occurred were different. So you had a system that supported a marriage, right? Whereas now, when you fast forward, you have most women that are now able to sustain themselves financially independent of a man. Whereas in that environment at that time, they didn't. So marriage was definitely encouraged, because how you gonna live without having a husband? You won't have enough income to sustain yourself. So
So
the
let
environment was set up for that,
so
whereas the environment isn't the same now.
our truth made a good point. If you're saying that average women are not dating average men, then why are they having babies by these average men? Most
You
women
got
are
to
not.
ask the women that.
Right, but you said they don't date them, so they're giving them an
No,
opportunity.
as far as marriage, they don't want them for marriage.
What? But women don't control
They gonna
marriage.
have them their babies and not want
What?
marriage.
The,
Yeah, they're waiting around to
Let
get
me ask
married.
you a question.
Marriage never comes, and they end up having a baby, stuck with the baby. Which I agree with you. I think that they should get into a space where they're not having these babies by these men.
I agree. I have a
They
question,
need to be
Caesar.
married first. They need to price their
uh-huh.
womb on a higher regard by saying that I'm not going to have any man's baby until I'm their wife.
Yeah,
We got it out of order.
let me tell you this. Most women who have a man's baby wanted that man at one point. She wanted that man.
Yeah, you ain't gonna have
Yes.
Women ain't
a
having no babies by a man that they want. But let me just say this, Caesar. Have you ever been in a relationship before, a long-term relationship before?
Yes.
And why didn't you ask her to marry you?
Why didn't I ask her to marry me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was not looking at that for that at that time. I was just looking for a relationship.
So it would be it's safe to, was she looking for that, or she was in it just like you?
She took
I
what
think
he
it's usually what happens is men and women get into relationships and none of the things are getting talked about until years down the road. Most women don't come and say, "Hey, I'm looking to get married." You can be
I,
a good girlfriend but not a good wife.
but how would you know if you've never been a wife? If she's a good girlfriend, then the assumption would be she would be a good wife, because typically you marry your girlfriend to make her the wife. So if she was a good girlfriend, then why would the assumption be she wouldn't be a good wife?
Well, what if the girlfriend that I'm looking for is just have a whole bunch of sex and hang out, but I can see she wouldn't be a good mother.
So then why get her pregnant?
But see, that's the thing. I don't have any kids.
So,
No, I
but
don't mean you. I'm talking about in general,
so
because
my
you're kind of speaking the way men are thinking. So I'll make her my girlfriend. She's great to be a girlfriend. I'm not going to make her a wife, but I will make her a baby mama.
Got got
so I think that that's your situation. Let's just say you have a girlfriend, which you did have at that time, because you just made an argument with mistaken, saying that women don't want to be, date average guys. I'm assuming you're saying it because you're an average guy, right? Which you
no,
found.
I'm not an average guy. But go ahead.
Okay, so but my point of it is, most men have been in a relationship before. Can we just say yes or no to that? Most men have been in a relationship before,
Yes.
decent relationship before, and they had the choice to marry the girl or not to marry the girl, right? And this is most
Yes.
men. Most men are average. You may not be average, but most men are average. So the notion that women are not giving average men an opportunity is incorrect, because most average men have been in relationships. Matter of fact, I would also argue that if only 1% or a small percentage of people are above average, and there are people who are married, most Black women are married to average men. Would that not be correct?
Accurate, yeah.
When I go outside, I see average people dating average people, whether they're married or in a relationship. I see relationships, they got their hands crossed, and usually it's an average person dating another average person. That's normally what I see. All
The
people
numbers say that it's not a lot. Because
that
what's the numbers? What, 25% of Black women are married, around that 25,
we
26?
didn't say marriage. I said relationships. Now the marriage comes whether or not he asked her to marry him.
Well, that doesn't help.
So what am I
That
saying?
doesn't help you if you're just dating.
Right. So what your argument was, average women aren't giving average men a chance. But if she's in a relationship with you, she's giving you a chance. If she's having sex with you, she's giving you a chance.
If have you guys heard on the panel, men and some women say that the small percentage of men are getting the majority of women? Have you guys heard that before?
Yes, I've heard that.
I
Okay,
don't think
so how is it that the majority of men are having this same access if women are only doing it to a small percentage?
Yes, but that argument is debunked if you sit here and you have a conversation with majority of the men and they've been in a relationship before. That means somebody dated you. Somebody gave you a chance. You just did not want that person.